Okay, my name is Kawa John Melviane, and I'm here to present my project uh, to you. And according to the instructions, I was supposed to get a deaf child from St. Anthony School for the Deaf, and my my student was called Sewan Kambo Brian, and he's in P6 class. He's 13 years old. His home village is Nabingo in Wakiso district in central Uganda. Um, I tried to interact with the brand to get to know more about him, about his situation. And one of the information I got from him was like he doesn't know his mother. Uh, he knows his father, but the father denied him. He said he doesn't produce or give birth to deaf children, so he disowned him. And Brian was staying with his mother. But it was in 2015, uh, Father Anthony, the owner of St. Anthony School for the Deaf, uh, he identified Brian in Nabingo. He picked him and brought him to his school where he stays now. Brian faces very many challenges because even when he's at school, none of the relatives visit him. So he rarely gets support he doesn't even get any support from what? From the family. So it is the school which owns him. He stays at school even if it is holidays time or it is school time, he stays at school. It is the school which owns him now. But so far he has managed to learn and is in P6 now. So according to the rubric, I was asked of the visual to present my information, and I've used a laptop and connected to Zoom. That's the visual I've used to present my work. And also, I'm also asked to present one education rate that is made in reference to the articles 121, 24, and 30. For this, I picked there one example, and it was in Article 21, which calls for accepting and facilitating the use of sign languages, braille, argumentative, and alternative communication, and all other accessible means, modes, and formats of communication of their choice by persons with disabilities in official interactions. So when it comes to this right, according to Brian, it has been met. For example, in his learning or in communication at school, there is use of sign language, and that's the best format he can learn. They also use visuals to help him in his learning, but the main mode of communication they use is sign language, and it is well recognized and promoted in the school. When someone comes in school and they do not know sign language, they are taught sign language as is communication and school. And Brian has benefited from that. That means his right of getting education in a better language he can understand, it has been made. And then I was also asked to talk about uh, two factors, one positive factor and another negative factor that have contributed to Brian's learning. One of the positive factors is that the Brian school fees is being paid by the school, since the school owns him fully, and the relatives and the family neglected him, and the father decided to take him up. The school owns him now. It pays everything, school fees, accommodation, clothing, and all that. So since his fees is being paid, it has become an advantage for him to continue with his learning without any difficulties. Because if he didn't have anyone to pay his school fees, he would be having problems. He might have not even gone to school. So that is very important for him, so, for having someone that is helping him to pay his school fees. So that is a positive contribution towards his learning. And the negative contribution is Brian, he doesn't get support from his family. So that is a negative advantage. First of all, his father disowned him. He says he does not produce children who are deaf. And also the family used to stay with the grandmother, and the grandmother gave in some little support, but the grandmother also stopped after some time. They had issues, and uh, she stopped visiting him or giving him any help, so he does not get any help from the family. And according to his conversation, he wants to be with his family. He wants his family to support him, and he misses them. But unfortunately, they don't show him that support, or they do not give him any support. So that affects him in different ways, in emotions, psychologically, and that contributes negatively to his learning. And the fourth instruction was saying that I present one factor on the power control here, wheel, sorry. And yeah, the power control wheel has very many factors, but I picked one where it is to minimize, justify, and blame. Under this, it can be done through denying or making light of abuse, denying the physical and emotional pain of people with disabilities, justifying rules that limit autonomy, dignity, and relationships for programs operational efficiency, excusing abuse as the behavior management or as due to caregiver stress, blaming the disability for abuse and saying the person is not good, is not a good reporter of abuse. For example, now I connected this, I tried to bring in a live example or like an experience I've had in my community, um, where uh, people with disabilities, and say the mental disabilities or physical disabilities, they tend to do or commit crimes, but after when they are taken to court or they are taken for judgment, their judgment is eased because of their disability. To them, it is a benefit. It is helping them to run out of danger from being maybe imprisoned. So because of their disability, they are forgiven. They are doing bad things, and then they are forgiven because of that. People think that they have done it because of having that disability. So for them, it helps them. But when it goes to the other side, it does not help them, because it will make them not learn that when I do this, I'm going to do what? I'm doing a bad thing, and I'm going to be arrested or imprisoned. So if they continue judging them according to their disability after doing something wrong, it is very bad, and it is making them continue doing the same thing, thinking that I will do it after all, they forgive me because I have this disability. So their justification is not always valid. The justification is made according to the what? To the disability they have. Then on the fifth instruction was saying, I present one way I can create positive attitude in the brand's home, or parents. One of the strategies I said I would create awareness about deaf culture. For example, here we see in most families, people with the disabilities come from families where they do not respect them. They think they are not normal people. So as a person who has known Brian's problem, I would create deaf awareness to the family. For example, I will go and tell them that Brian, yes, he was born deaf. It is a disability which is normal. He got it, so the family should not ignore him or disown him because he's deaf. Is like any other child in the family, but just he has that hearing loss or hearing impairment that is affecting him from hearing, but the rest he can be like any other child. So that will help me in making the family believe that Brian is also a good child, he should be supported, he should be respected, he should not be isolated or ignored by the family. So during this time, I will also do the teaching of sign language. I will use other people to help me teach sign language or create awareness about deafness to the family so that convince fully the people in the family that Brian is not having a big problem which needs him to be ignored and isolated. He needs just support from the family. And the sixth instruction was I present one measure that I could take as an ally to help Brian advocate for his rights. I said one of the strategies I would use is using my social media platforms, for example, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, website, to share Brian's story and different articles talking about the rights of people with disabilities, especially the deaf people. So this will help me to expose Brian to other people who read my that his information on my pages, and they may get touched and then bring in support that will help Brian. So I gave him examples of how people have used their social media platform to create or to inform people or to advocate for the rights of the deaf and other people with disabilities. There is one documentary of Patrick. It was recorded by UN Reported World, and it was posted on YouTube. There is also another one which was posted by Lucas Cope. It is also on YouTube about different people telling their experiences in the village. Different deaf people telling their experiences in the areas they live in. And the last instruction was I give a strategy to teach the deaf student or Brian how he can face challenges and how he can prevent himself or protect himself from abuse in case it has happened. One of the strategies I used was to tell or to train or teach Brian to always tell people he trusts about the situation and any abusive situation he's going through. For example, if it is at school, he's being um, maybe beaten by his fellow students because he said there are some students who like fighting, or he has been handled roughly by a teacher or what, he can get to tell someone he trusts, maybe the head teacher, that someone is beating me always and it is affecting me. Or maybe it is outside school in the village, you can look for the local leaders and inform them that I'm facing this challenge, either emotionally or psychologically or physically. So I will train or tell Brian, teach him on how he can report, that he has to always report instead of keeping quiet. He faces an abuse and he keeps quiet. It's not good. He should always report to the people he trusts about any abuse he's facing. And that's how simply I summarize my project, and this was it. Thank you.